Hey, okay, so Tower Defense Simulator added the Assassin, and so I'm just gonna do a little review of it. Um, Let me pick a map real quick. Where is that? There's like a yes U-turn. All right. So I have no way to get money here, so I'm gonna switch out. Which one? You can go, and I'll get what farm instead. Yeah. All right. So let's begin. Assassin 1 and Assassin 2, and let's see how this goes. Right, not exactly a very high stat tower for now, but does it have an ability or what's the quirk with this? Man, yeah, let me just get this wave done with, and then CQC training. That's a little bit more range, advanced hand to hand, and that's hidden detection. Whirlwind slash has got AOE damage. It doesn't seem assassin doesn't seem to be an assassin. Like it seems more like just a blow everything up tower. That's not really an assassin, but oh well, it's whatever they name it, I guess. Um. Okay, so clear out enemies. Wouldn't it be? I feel like Swarmer is more of an assassin because it takes out those big bosses, you know. But it's not my game, so all right. I will include the stats of the assassin a little bit later. Um, so once that's there, yeah, you'll because I gotta include the stats. Can't just sit here and say it's OP or it's not, and just not show you anything, right? All right. So it is claimed to be an early game tower. However, it kind of sucks at being early game. But maybe I just haven't upgraded enough. Okay, so now it can do AOE, but it's just I don't know. It's just kind of. Does he have like a mask? Oh, he has an interesting looking mask. And those are some nice looking particle effects. They kind of look like the Blox Fruit Blade particle effects. Not gonna lie. So even though it's an assassin, it's not really good at taking out these high HP like tanky enemies. So that's kind of disappointing. But what the? Oh my goodness! All right, right there. Okay, so now I've got upgraded blades. Final level. What is the final level? Black Ops. So every 150 damage dealt, you've got. Shut up, Commander. Shut, bro. Okay. Everyone. Yeah, it's Phantom Knives kind of sucks, but whatever. Whirlwind slash every third slash 30 damage. So quite a tower with a lot of stuff going on, right? However, it's not exactly a one of those crazy, like crack towers that everyone's talking about. Bro, what? Wait, is that because he's a boss? Whoops. I meant that. Okay. So let's say I put another assassin here. And another one. And another one bites, and another one bites, and another one bites a dust. Alright, so now we got a whole bunch of whirlwind slashers. So it should be able to take out this little horde, right? Yeah, yeah. They're not it's not amazing, but it's not exactly horrific either. Now I do need air support, so I'll be getting that. And I'm just gonna. I mean, it'll stun them. So Assassin is a pretty okay melee, but this damage per second is. I mean, it's six. It is intermediate, so there's that. But like, I don't know. I just feel like it should have been better. But hmm. All right, so they can definitely take out like the smaller enemies, but for bigger enemies, I mean, they're not really assassins. They're just another melee character, which I guess they are the earliest unlocked melee character. Besides maybe Warden or Brawler. Yeah, and no, they're the earliest because 800 800 coins. Yeah, that's pretty early. I feel like my electroshocker is carrying. This guy has 1,000 damage, and this guy has almost the same amount, even though he was placed a lot later and got to see technically less action, but he's also a little bit more costly so far. I'm pretty sure. So Block Ops, let's go. All right. So where's your fan of knives? I can't tell what he's doing. Oh wow. Okay, that damage is just spiking up. Hang on. This might actually be good, but it also is such a small range that I don't know about it. I'm gonna place a commander like I'm thinking right here because I gotta get my necromancers too. Okay, so with a small little horde of enemies, I mean it deals a good like 60, 70, 80, maybe like 100 damage per second, but that's not that much, you know? It's not that much. I wonder what the max amount you can place is. And I'll remove these assassins so that we can just have the stars of the show over here. Alright. And yep, they're actually doing very good against the Fallens, which Fallens are sometimes they pose a bit of a challenge for some towers, but not here. Hmm. Is this the best early game tower? There's definitely stuff better, but the best intermediate tower? Rocketeer probably is better, I'm gonna be honest. Oh wow. Okay, so that's a bloated fallen with 600 HP. After running through this crowd of slashers, not slashers, assassins, uh, they dealt some pretty good damage, I would say. Skip this wave and okay. Now here comes one of the larger challenges. What happens when they fight a fallen giant? Because remember, I mean, assassins are usually in games meant to take out bigger targets, right? So surely this would mean that okay. I mean, it's not bad. Whoa, dang. I mean, he's not dead, but like that's still pretty impressive. I think I might need to get a necromancer here to do a bit of carrying. Once I get that commander buff, I might also get an electroshocker over here just to help them a little bit. I might skip this wave as well. Okay, do that and do it again. Come on. Okay, so now that should be that's it's over for the giant now. All right, now you assassins. Yep. Okay, doing fine as expected. What's the damage amount now? Oh yeah, it is an early game tower. I forgot. Yeah, I don't care. I'm just gonna keep spamming assassins. I'll probably regret it later, but I have the necromancers to back me up. So bang, and then I'm shifting this to random because with random it hits the well, unless of course there's an aggro enemy, it'll hit the most power, the largest crowd usually. How large are okay? So fallen squires here have quite a bit of HP. Um, I think I'm going to get intense training. All right, now if I can commander chain, this will actually be a lot better. Probably should have kept the DJ, but I'm not sure if I wanted to trade out electroshocker for DJ. It seems I've got the maximum amount of not slashers, assassins crowded in this little area now. So time to expand more. And I do like how it has a pretty small hitbox, so you can fit a whole lot. But I feel like it just gives non-assassin vibes, you know. So that makes it just a little bit meh. Fallen necromancer versus real not real, like yeah, real necromancer, because the fallen necromancer is fallen. He's no longer a necromancer. Or perhaps fallen is simply a category. Oh, dang, I used that commander ability at the worst time possible. Okay, do I put another commander over here, or... I think I'm putting it over here, yeah. You got it. I feel like they buffed the Necromancer, because it's honestly gotten a lot better. When I use Necromancer in PvP, I mean, it's absolutely overpowered. And I don't use that term lightly, unlike some of these YouTubers. Sorry to dog on these guys, but... Okay, so health regen plus 1000 HP running through like what $30,000 worth of assassins. It doesn't actually do that much, but once again, it is an early game tower. So okay, what is nice? Okay, it does like insta kill the fallen necromancer skeletons, which are sometimes a problem for single target, but the assassin's not exactly single target. Contrary to what one would expect, by the way, but I'm gonna make so many statements about how the assassin is not assassin like. Okay, so the Necromancer, just a little bit of a side tangent. On the map, for whoa, okay, I'm not sure if you heard me because my computer lagged quite a bit right there. What I was saying is that hang on, please hit, please, yes, yes, hit that, huh, what? That's too bad. Well, I'm going to cut a little bit of the video because I'm currently using Microsoft Clipchamp to specifically record Roblox, and so I'll go onto the wiki to see exactly what the assassin stats are and DPS and stuff. All right, so I'm now on the wiki. Let's see. It has flying detection. What in the world? Okay, so it is left-handed. That's pretty cool. All right, so it costs 800 to buy, which I believe is less than Rocketeer. Um, so I'm guessing that at hang on, let's see the price efficiency. So you've got $112.5 per. I'm guessing 1 DPS. I'm not sure how good that is compared to some of the other towers. I'm gonna check out like let's say turret, just just for the reference, I guess. I'm waiting until yeah, okay. There we go. And then what cost efficiency do you have, sir? Cost efficiency is much less than assassin, but what about other early game towers like brawler? Okay. Whoa. All right. So okay, the brawler has a lot more cost efficiency. That is, yeah, that is so much more cost efficiency. I'm the lowest tier is that, and at the early stages, up until level 3, you have that much cost efficiency. Plus plus it can do AOE, right, with the bigger punch, and then also the ability, so it can move. It has decent range, can knock back, but obviously it costs gems, and it costs more gems than Assassin costs coins. However, let's see about the knives, because knives and whirlwind slashes. So it is every 3 shots, right? So let's say you've got no strategies. Heh. Oh, it does not detect flying or lead, only hiddens, and that is at tier, which is sometimes not super easy to get. So not exactly a good early game tower for hardcore, but let's see. Whirlwind hits, whirlwind damage, whirlwind range, and then hmm. Okay, so the DPS is 60 at base, right? So for the whirlwind, it is 1.5 seconds for whirlwind, and then whirlwind damage is 30. Let's say, because usually in let's just give Assassin the benefit of the doubt and say he's got 5 enemies in the range. It's 150 damage divided by 1.5, which is 100 damage per second. Wait, am I getting something wrong? I think that is. If he gets 5 enemies each time, it is 100 damage per second. But usually, I'm guessing he's not getting that much. So let's say 3 enemies per hit, right? That's 60 damage per second, which that's 120 total. And then you know what? Screw it. Let's say he hits 2, because I don't know, man. He just doesn't get that much. So that is, the whirlwind hits aren't don't count as, like, they kind of just add on. Yeah, let's say he hits 3 then, right? Let's say he hits 3 every 3 shots. That's 60 DPS, but then you have to divide the regular DPS. So that's 100 DPS total at max level, with, if he hits 3 enemies at once, and hits yeah if he hits 3 enemies at once, plus has his uh what am I talking about? Whatever. If he hits 3 enemies at once, right? That's 100 total, and then you've got knife. Let's say the knife pierce, right? I don't think he'll hit all of that, and I do believe the knife throw actually does not deter the assassin from hitting regularly, at least not from what I saw. And I don't think that knives have any special attributes. So let's say he gets 2 enemies with a knife, because the pierce is 3, and yeah, 2 enemies with a knife. That is 50 every 1.5 seconds, which is 33.33. So under all those conditions I just stated, 3 enemies per whirlwind, and because let's be honest, you're gonna put assassin near the entrance, right? 3 enemies per whirlwind and 2 enemies per knife pierce. You can get 133 points, a lot of threes damage per second. And then obviously, if you're going to go for if you're getting like even more enemies at the entrance, like where, for example, like certain fallen waves with the just chains of fallen hazmats, I'm guessing you can get a good like 9 enemies, or at least 7 enemies, so that could spike it up potentially to like 200 or 300 DPS, which is, I mean, that's pretty dang good for a starter tower, not to mention an intermediate. Let's see Rocketeer real quick. So the Rocketeer has a total of 94.27 DPS, and I'm assuming that is the total. Let's see. Yeah, I'm assuming that's the total just on one enemy. Now let's say Rocketeer is able to hit like 2 or 3 enemies, that shoots him up. Even 2 enemies just shoots him up immediately over Assassin, even as Assassin has lower range. However, the Rocketeer does cost quite a bit more, but it's in the same tier of towers, and it's not exactly an early game. It does have a lower cost efficiency though. Where is the cost efficiency? I know it has a low cost efficiency. Okay, yeah, 318. So even if it was doing hitting 2 or 3 enemies at once, it still does not have the cost efficiency of an assassin. So the assassin definitely is a better early game, but it's not exactly a big damage dealer. Uh, so yeah, I guess that will be my conclusion on this. So yeah, have a good day.